Well, hello, this is a wonderful trip that everybody should have a go at. It's a tour, so unlike many of our other trips, which are just days out, this is a 4-day tour of Mull and Iona and opportunities. So if you don't know where Mull is, it's in Scotland on the west coast, Inner Hebrides, between Skye really and the Trossachs, and these are our 4 days of touring. So you can see day 1 is the south, day 2 we went across to Iona, day 3 was moving north, wonderful scenery, and then day 4 we looped around the northern part of the island, which is quite stunning. So here's our day 1. We start at Craignure at the ferry port where we'd left from Oban earlier on in the morning, and then the first bit is it's interesting because it's new, but it tends to be across the land. Not a great deal of climbing, but then you rejoin the coast, and at that point, once we join the coast about halfway along, then the views are really beautiful, very stunning. And we headed our way to Bunasan, then we stopped there, had some lunch, and then down to Oisken beach where we were staying overnight. So really great day out. Now day 2 was a short day for us, where we went back into Bunasan and then down to Fionfort for the ferry across to Iona, and then went over in Iona. There's not many places you can ride your bike. Komoot may tell you there's lots, but there isn't. So we spent some time around the Abbey and looking at the scenery and the things, and then went out for a walk around the beaches, which is stunning. So if you wanted to spend time there, that's a great place to visit. And then we're back, fish and chips on the coast, and then back home for the night. And that's a wonderful wildlife reserve there, so that might be worth spending a day visiting that. But we went back, and then we went down to the beach to have a look, and loads of people bikepacking, camping down there on the beach. So that was day 2. Really great, easy day out really after the initial early start of catching the ferry. Day 3 we left Oisken and we were heading up to Tobermory, so we followed along that north coast, so retraced our steps from day 1, and then instead of heading off, which Komoot wanted us to go across the mountains, we took some local advice and they said don't even risk it. So we went up this scenic road and it was breathtaking. So this scenic route, once you get over the first bit, there's quite a long climb through some forestry, and then the scenic route was absolutely stunning there. Loads of places to see, loads of places to stop, not a lot of places to buy coffee or anything like that from, but then we went up, then rejoined the coastal road. The views are great, but this bit of coastal road here going up to Tobermory is a little bit, well, it's full of traffic and coaches, so you just have to be a little bit careful. But Tobermory is very, very pretty, and it's a must-visit tourist destination. Day 4, we could have just headed straight back, but instead we decided to go round the northern part of the island, which everyone has said was stunning. So we left Tobermory early in the morning. That's a brutal climb out of Tobermory. It's down on the coast, but it's in the mountains. So you head right up to these nature reserves that are at the top. Beautiful reservoirs. And then we headed across the top of the mountains, which again was really beautiful, back down to the coast, towards the coast on the other side, so down towards the west, and then that's sort of overlooking the island of Ulva on the other side. And we stopped at this place. It was a memorial to a young lady who tragically passed away, and then headed back, worked our way down around the edge, and then cut back across the headland, and then followed the coast road down back to Craignure at the end of the day to try and catch the ferry. So the ferry's about an hour's journey, and then it brought us back to Oban, where we stopped and had a meal on the harbour overlooking. Oban's quite a big town, and then it was a short drive back to where we'd parked our car. So a 4-day tour with lots of other opportunities for other things. 234k and about 2,300 metres of climb, so not too bad. Places to stay, as you get nearer to Iona or Tobermory, but not much in the way of food and toilets. So I'll just go through the key aspects of the rest of this. So what are the road conditions like? Well, generally you're on tarmac, it's mostly road. There were a few times when Komoot tried to take us off-road, but generally it's excellent. The road conditions there are superb, and just watch when you're coming away from the main ferry ports to Iona or from Craignure, because there's a lot of coaches on the way, and they're a bit of a nuisance on the single track, but there are passing places. So generally we were able to stop in the passing spaces on the way. What sort of bike should you take? Well, it is quite strenuous, so I would say that if you're on a road bike, it would be quite hard. You know what road biking is like. It's easy, but on the other hand, you've got to carry a lot of stuff. So I would say that a touring bike or a gravel bike where you can put lots of bags on it and carry your own stuff would be excellent. Some of the roads had a bit of gravel around the side, and because they're single track, you're often being passed by these coaches on the main routes, so you're riding in the gravel on the side, and there's not many places to recharge a battery. Loos and food are quite important. There are very few very formal cafes along the way, so you're generally carrying your stuff with you. There's plenty in the main towns at each end where we stopped, so that's not an issue. And the Eastern Coast Road had a few more because there were lots of fishing places and others, but generally you have to carry most of what you need. But then isn't that what a cycle tour is all about? So you can see just here we're on one of those single track roads. There's cars and motorhomes occasionally passing us, but it's not very busy traffic. This is slow motion here. Right, climbing. Day 1 we're climbing only a small amount. Day 2 going to Iona is very easy. We stayed just outside Bunison, which had a bit of a steep climb in it. Day 3 there were long climbs heading up towards Tobermory, and then day 4, because we went around the north, that scenic route is very climby and it's pretty steep. So preparation, be aware that there's no bicycle support out there at all, so you're going to have to carry everything you want. We had good tools. We didn't actually snap a chain, but we did the day after we got home. And you need all your equipment, be ready for multiple punctures, carry multiple tubes, and make sure that you can pump the tyres back up quickly. The weather, you can see here, has just suddenly become raining. We got absolutely drowned on day 1, and the rain was coming at us and there was no shelter. The trees are not something that you can expect a lot of support from. There is forestry, but not against the roads necessarily, and in one place it had been felled. But the villages here, as you can see pictures of us just arriving at Iona, very easy place to be, but again very exposed, so just be aware that can catch you out. The highlights, definitely the coastal routes, and the day at Iona was great, but the scenic routes, the scenic route that we took north and then around the top, was excellent. And that gives us the ability, when you're there, you can go across to Tobermory, from Tobermory rather, you can go north up to Skye and continue through the Inner Hebrides. A lot of people did that. It's just getting your bike back home. Mull is great for backpacking. There's also day trips out to Stuffer, Fingal's Cave, and you can then also take a trip out if you want to make it as part of your hop across to the Outer Hebrides. But again, the problem there is what do you do when you get back at the other end, particularly if you've got a tandem. So in summary, what do I think of the tour? I think it's a must. You really should try it, particularly if it's one of your first tours. It's dead easy. It's not too far. 145 miles spread over 3-4 days is not hard. About 40 miles a day you're doing, and there's loads of opportunities for those of you that want to just camp rough and take advantage of things that you could buy, or you can carry it all with you. And it was just really interesting, wonderful to meet the people. They were absolutely superb, and we stayed in the Youth Hostel in Tobermory, and that was excellent. You had to carry a bike up quite high. It's quite difficult with a tandem to lift it up to where we needed to store it, but it's a great town. So if you want to pick up the individual sections from Komoot, we've got them here available on Paul and Diane on the Tandem page, and you can find those individual sections, and I'll also be adding appropriate videos of the road conditions at each one. So do subscribe to us both on Komoot and on YouTube, and you'll be able to pick up those new videos as they arrive. But I wish you all the best. It's a great ride, it's a great trip, and I think everybody should do it. So we'll look forward to seeing you in the individual parts and then on some of our other trips around Scotland. Bye for now.